Good day, strategy gamers, and welcome back to episode 4 of our Let's Play series of 1941 scenario, playing as the Soviets in War in the East 2. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at our air phase and the first half of the ground phase for turn 2 of the scenario, mostly focusing on our defensive efforts, our withdrawal efforts, you could almost say, for the northern half of the front we're trying to establish. If you recall from the previous episode, we left by seeing that the Germans had advanced all the way to the gates of Pskov, which really surprised me. I expected them to make significant gains in territory. I did not expect them to get that far, though. I was hoping that maybe there'd be 3 or 4 hexes even in between us and the spearhead of the German advance to Pskov. And instead they made it all the way to our forces. And that's kind of the view that we're looking at right now. Before we get into all the details of what we're going to do in the ground phase, though, let's first just take a look at the air phase. We see that for a lot of our air elements, we've gotten most of them retreated, and we're going to continue the same thing. We're really just not even in a good, composition perspective of where we could leverage them. And the Germans are going to have such incredible air superiority. I would rather wait a couple of turns before we really use some of these airframes and pilots. I just want to save as much as possible. So right now, all the air armies and commands are set in a retreat status, and we're going to continue pulling back the attached HQs so they continue to follow in the rear of our formations. So we're going to turn that on. And we'll go ahead and execute the air phase. So we do have some air recon running right there, you can see. Yep. Our flying air patrols. Have some air superiority going on. And we're halfway through the week now. And there was the air recon once again. So the recon's going to be helpful to try to help us understand kind of where the German forces are. And now we're going to get into our ground phase. Alright. So close out of that. So yeah, I think maybe let's begin not with Pskov, but in here near Tallinn, and focus on withdrawing and creating this line near Narvia, where the river is, to kind of protect the western approach to Leningrad, because there's really kind of 2 ways to get there, right? They can come from the west by moving due north and cutting over, or they can push due north through Pskov, past this Lake Ilmen line, all the way up to Leningrad. So we're going to put, again, just a bit of a token force here in Narvia on that river to try to hold them. And it's going to encompass all these units we have back here. So we're just going to start pulling all of these back. Then go there. Getting these as far retreated as we can. We need to cross there, hopefully, before you get cut off. I think all of these HQ units, we're just going to move in a group up here. And same with all of you. There we go. So now really, we're kind of void of all forces here. And before we get to Pskov and the rest of the front, I actually want to go through and do all of the kind of units that are still in a surrounded pocket back here. So we're going to go back here, and I want to push up here. So what we actually ended up doing was capturing motorized depots. Hopefully that has some some marginal impact on the enemy forces. Although I'm not terribly optimistic on how much it'll impact them. And then we're going to move back this tank division. And just kind of want them to have to chase us a little. We'll move them up there even. I don't know if we're going to be able to... Let's have you go there. Yeah, see, look, we're able to get some motorized flak battalions surrendering there, and a rifle division depot. So it's not much. It's like that meme, right? It's not much, but it's honest work. Yeah, and we'll have them just kind of sit here away from that infantry division and make them come and get us, you know? Here we're going to take this rifle division. I don't think they're going to be able to... Let's come up here maybe. Same with the HQ unit. Don't know if there's a great spot to have these guys go. Can they actually counterattack that? It's kind of 2 to 1. I think we should stay on the defensive. So let's have you just come back 1. Down over here, let's see. So that's 30,000 men in rifle divisions, and it just sucks that they're cut off like that. So I'm just going to split them up. I wish I hadn't run into a full stack of their forces there, though. Oh, look, they are all around us. And we will... These guys come over here. Right, so now all of these German units find themselves in our zone of control, which should hamper them ever so slightly. You, I think, will come down here. There we go. They wouldn't have gotten these rail lines repaired yet, but at the very least there probably are, I would assume, roads following the rail lines, right? So we're cutting off some of those paths at least, so that's something. Let's take the roads back off. Actually, no, I'm going to leave that overlay on. I kind of like that overlay. It's a little messy down here in East Prussia, but that's okay. This rifle division, I'm going to have them advance towards this airfield here. And yep, so we were able to capture that depot. Again, probably not a ton of supplies there, but it's something that's forcing them to now address. Do the same thing here with this this security border guard unit. Can you go down here and do the same? Yep. No idea if there's anything of value in those, but it's something. And I'm gonna have you come down here. You're going to surrender next turn either way, so at the very least I want to see if I can't see any more units here, but there weren't. Let's have you come up here. You can go there. You can come back there. Have that tank division go there. We'll have this infantry, or no, the cavalry division, excuse me. I'll have them go down there. I just walked right into the 167th Infantry Division though, didn't we? Let's see if you can come down. Okay, so they do have a unit there. Probably defending what I assume is a depot. Now, let's see if we can't keep pushing here towards Minsk. So let's just see what we can do with this cavalry division. They can get up there. Alright, so there you go. We've recaptured Minsk. That's something. Let's move some type of unit of consequence up there to help them. Maybe can these mechanized units get up there? They can't. Just can't. Neither can they. Shoot, I don't know that we have anything that can get there other than these 735 men in that infantry division. My goodness. Border guards can't get there either. Let's have you go there. Go there. So just toss you in Minsk for now. That rifle division come up. And so you go there, there. This tank division. I actually have you go up there. I'm gonna make them go on a bit of a wild goose chase with some of these units. Here we just have a stack of HQ units. We're just gonna bring them here. Another stack of HQ units can go there. This tank division will bring there. You were routed, so just have you come up one. Go there. Come down there. Let's actually have it this way. Bring you up here. Let's see, you can come there. Maybe these HQ units there. Up here. Now hopefully this triggers them to say, oh, crap, we didn't secure Minsk, and they have to come back now and address that situation. Because here's my hope, right? My hope is that if they come back and try to take Minsk again as quickly as possible, right, that the AI freaks out a little, that it will then result in them not pushing as quickly to Smolensk. If they continue with a full-fledged push towards Smolensk, then maybe, just maybe, I can have enough time to set up these units in and around Smolensk. Maybe even get some air resupply going in there, and it won't be much, but at the very least then I get the urban fortification benefits of defending Minsk. That's the hope. Yeah, and I don't think we have any hope of these guys coming over and trying to reconnect. That's fine. I mean, there's no two ways about it. These are doomed soldiers that don't stand a chance. But how can I be as annoying as possible with those doomed soldiers? And come up there. Then you guys are going to continue being a bit of a rear guard action. Alright. Yeah, pretty satisfied with that. Already moved you. So they continued advancing here. I think they went probably 3 or 4 hexes east from Minsk from the beginning phase. And we've now moved this blob of encircled units closer to Minsk. I'm a little optimistic in the sense that in these kind of foraging moves I did here and here, I didn't run into a huge concentration. So their pocket that is surrounding us is not tight. Doesn't mean it's not strong. It doesn't mean that they still won't overwhelm us, but at the very least it tells us it's not a tight pocket, right? Which gives us room to maneuver. And if there then is equal distance this direction of Minsk, again, I'm optimistic that maybe I can form some type of perimeter around the city and just hold out 1, 2, I doubt 3, but maybe 3 turns longer than I would have if I just kept all of these units here where they were in the pocket and tried to dig in. We'll see. Yeah, we didn't have any fortification levels established that turn, which isn't surprising at all. Yeah, but you see even that cavalry division, right? It's defensive value 4, and a big reason for that is just because it's even in the city. Okay, so that deals with our pockets in the north half of the ground phase. Let's now go back to the semi-established front line and talk about Peskov. Oh, Peskov, what do I want to do about you? So we've had this plan, right, of we're going to do a line here, a line in front of Peskov, and then while we were holding things there, we were going to build out a more realistic defense of kind of where historically the Germans were held south of Leningrad here, this line down to Lake Ilmen, south of Lake Ilmen down towards Rzhev, Smolensk, etc., kind of this area, southwest of Moscow, let that continue on to Oryol and Kursk, etc., etc., etc. And I don't know that we're going to deviate from that. I think we're just going to maybe move some units in different positions because of how quickly the German player was able to get up here to Peskov. So right off the bat, I see that they've already got a front line with a width of 6 hexes pushed up against us, whereas we have a width of 4, which means already, right, it's kind of signifying that we're about to be encircled. Just by doing that math, you can kind of get that impression. If we look at fortification levels, we were able to dig in some of these areas, which is really good news. But I don't know that we were able to dig in enough to make it really count. But what I think we're going to do is we're going to pull back just a little here. It's like I'm going to take this rifle division and move them here, which gives them 10. I'm going to take this anti-tank unit and bring them here. That gives them 5. And then these units I'm actually going to pull back to here, as well as you. This 3rd tank division, I'd actually been retreating, I think. I'm going to move them up to Peskov proper, and I'm going to take the Northwest Front HQ out of the city. Just going to move you there for now. Move them up in. So now we have, if they do manage to break through here, we then have a defensive value of 14 in Peskov. And let's see as well, I want to check. It's like here, you're part of the 8th Army. I don't want you to be part of the 8th Army. I want you to be part of the 22nd Rifle Corps. I'm going to change you over to... Oh, refit's really kind of the only option, huh? Maybe it... Yeah, I'm going to move them back over here. This HQ unit, we're just going to pull to the rear. Okay. This security unit, gonna pull up here. I mean, I don't expect they'd actually stop anyone, but I hope it would slow down any type of encirclement movement that they have to our east, right? Because it extends the width of our line a little. So there we have 10. But actually, I'm wondering if maybe I shouldn't have moved the 182nd. If maybe instead, I should have moved the 182nd here and moved the 183rd back. I think I should have. So we're going to kind of half fix that now, and we're going to take the 183rd back here. And the 182nd. Yeah. Okay. You were routed, all 71 of you. And honestly, just from kind of a clerical perspective, admin, whatever you want to call it, I'm just going to disband you. Now it's one less unit I have to move around, think of. I don't make the mistake then of thinking, oh, okay, here's a border unit, it's 1,500 men, put them here, when really they were only 73. So that's Peskov. And then we're going to build out here this line south of Lake Ilmen. I think we're still going to continue to do that, so let's take you guys off the train. We have these infantry divisions here. Okay. And let's take... Take the 172nd there. 144th there. I think we'll move back there. Move the HQ back. Just gonna take the front even further back for now. This airborne brigade. Take them here. Right, so what we're going to do is kind of create this L shape as we get reservists coming in and as these units fall back, where we make a line here, we have our line south here, and this line will just slowly then pull back up north and slowly rotate into the lines that we build here. That's kind of the plan. This HQ unit we'll just toss back there for now. Can't move that unit. Tank division. I don't think I want a tank division holding the line there, but I can't move it this turn anyways. This is a motorized rifle division. I think we will have them move up here. This rifle division, we're going to start marching this way to get them here to start that line north. Okay, and then all of these infantry divisions we need to start deploying and connecting them with the north of our Smolensk line. Take you off the train. Gonna move you here. Same thing. Off the train, up. Off the train, and up. Off the train. Rifle Corps HQ unit can come back here. Couple of tank divisions there. Alright, so this is looking pretty weak right now. But remember, we do have units in the reserve that maybe we'll look at after we've gone through the entire front, because then we can decide where we want the reserve units to be allocated. Down here, as we get closer to Smolensk, I think what we might do I can't remember from the last episode, so if I'm contradicting myself here, I hope not. But this line that I'd built here, I'm actually going to have it be a little bit more straight north-south, and it's because I'm looking at the terrain here and I see that this is rough terrain, which means it'd be very difficult for panzers to go over and gives us a good defensive advantage, I feel. So we're going to move these up. Again, I'm hoping I'm not contradicting a thought that I had to say, no, it's best to have them back here. Yeah, okay. So at the very least here, like, this is comforting to see how clean that front is. Let's move you here. Alright, and then the Smolensk line, I feel like I need to now reinforce with a lot of these units that we had brought up. Going to leave one in Smolensk, though, just kind of permanently to always have there. Some of these rifle divisions will now move up. Let's bring you here. You're on train. Take you off. You come up here. Tank division. Have come up here. Big weak point in the line I did not catch before is right here. So we're actually going to break what I just said. We're going to take this particular unit up. It's still pretty weak. Also bring you up. Take you back here to Smolensk. Okay. So we've moved up some of those HQs as well. So we're starting to build out a bit of a line here. Let me take a look. So you're part of Stavka. That doesn't make sense. What front does all of this belong to? Do we not have a front? It's just Stavka the front. I feel like that's inefficient and should be adjusted. So you're part of the Western Front. You look pretty full. You're already 92 out of 72. Northwestern Front is up here. Suppose you could be part of the Northwestern Front. So let's go through and do that. So 24th Army. Oops. Misclicked there. 28th Army, go to Northwestern Front. Okay. 18th Army will do the same. We have left the 24th Army. I'm going to end up going over here. And okay, so that's a little inefficient, and I need to review. That's the 20th Army. It's all the way up there. 7th Mechanized needs to go to a different army. So let's put the 7th Mechanized in the 16th Army. 16th Army go to the Northwestern Front. Okay. Oh, geez, I still have more here. I really overloaded the Northwestern Front. I might have to undo some of this in a following episode. Because now we're way too heavy. I think I could turn the Northwestern Front into an assault front, but then I lose. Oh, this is a rifle corps. I need the 20th Army here. But if I turn it to an assault front, then I lose fortification level bonuses. So maybe what we'll do is we'll take elements of the Northwestern Frontier. Yeah, let's do this actually. It's like, let's take the 8th Army and let's have you go to the Leningrad Front. So the Leningrad Front is a little light. th Army. No. You shouldn't be part of the 27th Army then, should you? You should be part of the... I don't have an army over here. Wow, this has gotten messy. This has gotten really messy. So I need Army HQ. I have the 8th Army there. Almost all their forces are stuck there behind lines. So let's toss these 2 rifle corps to the 8th Army. Then that should then also alleviate... What am I doing? 27th Army. Here. See the 8th Army. Okay, well, we're just going to assign you to the Leningrad Front then. But now Northwestern Front should be a little better off, but I think I probably moved it too far north. So frankly, that's kind of where the Leningrad Front could be. It's better, not great, but better. It's better than having all of these units in Stavka. Oh, my goodness. These tank divisions aren't part of anything. 5th Mechanized needs to change. Just put you over even further. Then we need to toss 57th Tank Division. We'll do the 5th Mechanized Corps. There we go. Okay, so we've reinforced our Smolensk front. We've done some clerical work of getting HQs in such an order, and you can again kind of start to see a front line being established. We're probably a little further south than we'd like right now with Peskov, but I would like to try to make some type of stand there. These units, right, we can kind of envision them moving further north as they're retreated, thus then doing kind of this door motion, like a door swinging open or close, where they just kind of go like this, and then form a new line here, where their pivot point is Lake Ilmen. And then we'll continue to bring these infantry divisions up south of Lake Ilmen, and we really need to get some now north of Lake Ilmen too, because even though we plan on pulling these back, they're going to be heavily depleted and exhausted. So will the German forces, right, from attacking us, and why we need to be a little stronger here than north of Lake Ilmen right now is look geographically how much further the Germans have to go to get to north of Lake Ilmen, whereas by Smolensk, they're a mere 10 hexes away. Right, so we need to be ready for them now, not later. So I think everything from the Aryol down to Odessa front, we will take care of in the next episode, but we're not going to close out here quite yet. What I want to do is look at what we have in our reserve box, because we had a lot of units come in that were transferred. So we've got some rifle divisions here, right? 92% TOE. I mean, 92% TOE on a rifle division right now is almost like perfection compared to what we have out there in the field. And we just need to, as much as possible, get all of these guys into action, right? As many of these as we possibly can. And I think what we're going to do is kind of from a strategic perspective, we are going to prioritize the defense of Aryol, Smolensk, and Leningrad over the defense of Rostov, Stalino, Sevastopol, etc. Because just if you had to ask me which of the two halves is more important, I think it's going to be the Moscow and Leningrad objectives. If for no other reason, right, than Moscow's 60 as opposed to others being 30. So I think that's what we will do. And given that, we have to consider where we're going to bring in the reinforcements. Oh, and actually, I should take a look here. Did we get any in Moscow already that were deployed? Doesn't look like it. Okay. So now where do we want to deploy these reinforcements? And this might seem a little strange, but my gut is kind of telling me that maybe we should do them up here near Lake Ilmen, because then they can try to block off this northern advance of German Army Group North, and it makes sure that the Germans don't simply go around Smolensk to the north through Rzhev and straight to Moscow. On the other hand, we choose like Smolensk as the reinforcement point, we can ensure that nothing breaks through this sector, which is the fastest path to Moscow. But in the northern half, I am weakest right now here. I don't know if there's a good decision. I'm going to have the reinforcements come in right around Rzhev. I'm going to try to pick a spot a little closer to the front than Rzhev, though, where it's kind of in between Smolensk and Lake Ilmen. So let's see, can we have them come in this hex? Looks like we can. So let's do this hex right here is where we're going to have the reinforcements come in. No, I need to consider something else here, though, real quick. Supplies. If I put them right here, I think it's just going to kill freight on this one line. And I wonder how much of an impact that's going to have on their combat readiness than trying to get to the front. So maybe, even though it's further away, maybe Rzhev is the better choice. Yeah, I'm going to do Rzhev. It's closer than Moscow. I can still use rail line if needed down to Smolensk. Yeah, we're going to set... This is a big call right now, but I haven't done this, so I don't know what the min-maxed best solution is. But we're going to choose Rzhev, and again, just to try to explain it to you, my logic being the northern half of the front is the priority. Rzhev kind of sits in between the two pillars of the northern front, which is Smolensk and the defense around Lake Ilmen, because that's how we hold Leningrad and Moscow, right? So I think we're going to choose Rzhev as the spot for reserves to come in. So we're going to right-click, set reserve, theater box arrival hex. We'll go to reserves. We see here the arrival hex is now Rzhev. And we're just going to start putting all of these to the map. working our way from top to bottom here. That tank division, might leave that tank division one more turn. These tank battalions, we will go ahead and put to the map. Let's see, here we go. Then we have this mechanized division. I'm also going to leave that another turn. This motorcycle regiment we will put to the map. And now we get to all the rifle divisions. Forgive me as it may be a little dull, but we're going to go through and... Sorry, the ones here in orange we can't deploy yet. They have a delay still. We're going to transfer these to the map. Now you might be asking too, right, well, you know, your other theater boxes... Right, they're all under strength to what they should be. Should you be putting anything there? I'm certain you could make an argument for it, but my priority right now, I think, has to be protecting the on-map strategic objectives. For at minimum the next 3 or 4 turns, I think. If I get to a point where I'm feeling good about the front line I've established, right, and it's not just this complete waterfall of German elements moving towards Moscow and such, then I think we visit it. But for now, focus is defending the objectives on the map. Alright. And we have a lot more reinforcements coming in turn 3 again too, so we're going to have a similar situation. And I'm hoping it will then allow me to kind of take stock of the situation and say, okay, is Rzhev still the right spot? Do we need more reinforcements in the south? Do we somehow split it between 2 turns, etc., etc.? Right now, we're just going to try to pile everything we can into Rzhev to then appropriate out next turn between the defense of Smolensk and the defense of Lake Ilmen. And a big part of it's going to be around Peskov. Do we hold them there another turn or 2, or are they able to just power right through next turn? I don't know what will happen with that. Anti-tank regiments, these TOEs are too low for us. Anti-air. TOE is, again, around 10%. Instruction units we're not worrying about right now. But I probably could use them to help with fortification levels. Yeah. So I think we actually will deploy these. And then mortars. Yeah, I guess we can toss them in. Okay. So that is that. We've done... God, look at that line and how much closer it is to Smolensk. It is a little unnerving, right? I mean, a panzer unit can get that distance easily in just 1 turn. Did I forget about... I forgot about you. You're only 200 men, but I forgot about you. Debating if I just disband them. I think I'm just going to disband them. Yep. Okay. Along the front here, we do have some pretty good defensive positions already kind of established. Let's go ahead and set you guys to reserve. Same thing over here. Same thing there. I think we're going to do that with the tank division we have in Peskov. Yeah. Okay. Ran out of movement points, but you're going to come up further north here. Okay. Can't get you any further either. So I think that's going to wrap it up for episode 4, guys. I gotta stress, this has certainly been a... You guys probably know by now, I'm a huge fan of Gary Grigsby. This year, 2021, is kind of the first year I've really been able to get into the games. I've logged now probably... Jeez, it's got to be about 100 or more hours into War in the East 2 already, plus I've been dabbling with War in the Pacific and doing a little bit of research too, but the most I've ever gotten into Gary Grigsby games, and I'm so thankful I did, because this has been an utter blast. But I gotta say, for this scenario, this challenge of playing the Soviets in 1941, it probably has been the hardest thing I've tried so far. And a big reason for it is I just don't feel like I have a leg to stand on in terms of, oh yeah, here's the front line, right? Or here is what they will likely do next. We have this blob of red hexes, but even though we had recon going, we hardly know where anything is, right? We don't know where a bulk of their forces are. It looks like we had great recon here, so we see that, and I just wonder, is it something like that here along the Smolensk line too that's just waiting to crash down on us? Likely it is. So it's, if you haven't yet tried playing the Soviets in 41 and you're not a newcomer to the game, I would stress that if you're not new to the game, I would suggest you give it a try, just because I think it does pose such an interesting challenge, and it does seem that amongst most players, the popular option does seem to be play as the Germans, try to blitz on to all the strategic objectives and win before the winter of 41, or even the fall of 41, to be honest. But I think probably more people should give the Soviets a try. They're quite a bit of fun. I know there is this whole, okay, well, once you make it into 42, arguably 43, it's kind of a settled score, right, that they will probably win. I would argue, though, that even once you get to that point, there are lots of things that can go wrong or well that you need to tackle, and there are varying degrees of how effectively you can win, and that can kind of be the challenge to yourself. And again, there's difficulty settings to change and all of this too. Anyways, now that I've rambled on a little bit, thank you everyone so much for giving the video and the series a watch, your continued support of the channel. Should you have questions, comments, or feedback, please leave them below and I will get to them. Again, I usually record a couple of episodes at once, so if there's a delay, it's not that I'm ignoring it. I will get to it every couple days to respond to your comments. And with that, strategy gamers, hoping you have yourselves an excellent day. Bye now.